Hello and welcome back to Toadstool Tarot. Today I thought I'd bring you a curious little deck that I was introduced to by our friend Sarah over at Waterchild Tarot. Now she got this in a Japanese auction, I believe, with some other decks. And I'm not entirely clear about the history of this deck. Because I believe she said it was printed in Japan and it was only available to a Japanese audience. I'm not sure about that. Maybe I'm misremembering, or I don't know. This one, it's called the Angel Tarot, and that little sticker, that's not the price I paid. I paid quite a bit for it on eBay, because once I saw her walkthrough, I really liked many elements of the deck. And it's long out of print, so I was only available to find it on eBay. And my version is different from hers as far as the backs of the cards go. Hers had I believe it was sort of a brown plaid, and mine has a decorative pattern, but you'll see that in a minute. Anyway, the one I got was supposedly a mint copy. I mean, the outside of the box looks older, but the inside was shrink-wrapped. And I can tell you that this is a vintage copy because of the shrink wrap. When I tried to take the shrink wrap off, if you know old shrink wrap, it doesn't keep its elasticity over time. And when I tore the shrink wrap off, it kind of flaked apart in shards. It says made in Japan expressly for U.S. Game Systems, New York. So, yeah, it was manufactured in Japan. I don't know if it was only for a Japanese audience market or whether it was available here as well. But I believe I looked in the little white book, and I think the date of release was 1980. It's very snugly in the box. And I liked this deck very much for its color, with the exception of two cards, the Fool and the Hermit. The coloring is different. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit all over the map here about what I wanted to say about this deck and the order I wanted to say it in. Comes with the generic little white book. It's all in English. The booklet says was printed in the USA. The box was printed in the USA. I believe the deck was printed in Japan. And yes, copyright 1980 by Stuart Kaplan. So, and these cards, for some reason, there's a note in here, they were collated to be in a different sequence. I'm not really clear why they did that, but anyway, no matter. Now, the card stock itself, these cards are smaller than standard tarot size by just a bit, about a quarter of an inch narrower and shorter. The card stock is thicker. I would say card stock quality has improved over the years as far as printing goes. And this seems to be very indicative of what was available in the 70s and 80s. There's a very limited lamination over the surface. It's not glossy, but it does have a sheen to it. You can kind of feel the edges of the cards. They feel thick and sharp, but there's no lip like we get in a lot of punched out sheets today. Now this is the back on the one that I got. It's got a gold pattern, and curiously, well, it looks like it's not going to show up here, but under light, if you tilted it just a certain angle, the red through the filigree here seems to almost pop out like it's fluorescent or something. No, it's not going to do that little trick for me here. I guess it depends on the light source that you have. I don't have this on very bright light. But anyway, I don't know. It's called the Angel Tarot, and I did see online there's another deck that came later called the Angel Tarot. I don't know if these are supposed to be angels. But anyway, enough of this. Let's get on with the colors of the deck. Oh, I also wanted to say that the color palette on this I like very much, and it almost reminded me of the Tarot de Marseille by Vincent Pitisci, which has sort of warm earth tones. So I've done another walkthrough on my channel of that, but I thought we'd sort of kill two birds with one stone here, and I would show you these side by side. These are more contemporary cardstock, more flexible, softer, not as thick, a little more luxurious. So buy a couple cards thinner. And this is a slipperier deck than the Angel Tarot. Okay. You can see these colors in the Pitisci, sort of like sage, brick red, spicy mustard yellow. It's not the same in the Angel on the Fool card, but some of the other cards here. You can see on the Magician there's some similarity in the palette. This line work is thinner and more delicate. Beautiful tones. I like the tones in both of them. This is a little bit warmer. The white is a little more stark white than on the Pitisci. The focus, of course, here is meant to be the Angel Tarot, but I thought it might interest you to see these side by side. We have Justice in the number 8 spot, which is often the case in Marseille decks. The Hermit, this is the other card where the coloring, I'm not fond of the Hermit and the Fool. It's a little more bright, the blue and red, and away from the earth tones. the autumn tones. Yeah, I would say this is kind of an autumn palette for the most part. Now here we have a switch. This this hangman is more reminiscent of a deck I believe it's the Gassman deck I have that has the Fool depicted like this from the side. And I think that's a Swiss deck. So that may be where they've taken the influence here. I was tickled by this angel when I saw it. It's one of the happiest smiling, I'm sorry, angel. Did I say angel? I meant devil. It's one of the happiest smiling devils that I've seen in a deck. Very cute. Not particularly scary. There's a difference in direction. They both have the little bird. I love the sort of geometric floral pattern of the star here. It's like a little chain of flowers here. And the color here is very pretty. A little more stark, but it's still in keeping with that focus on that palette. I'm not as keen on this sun. I don't know why. Something about the expression and the kind of square flower-like quality of that sun. Actually, the brighter yellow is more pointed. That part works for me. These other, like, flat petals or leaves coming out of it is kind of detracts from it for me. Now it's where we start to get a change. You'll see. Excuse me. This deck has the playing card designations on the card, the indications. So besides being a tarot deck, it also can be used as a playing card deck. I guess all tarot can, but sometimes you have to sort of translate in your head, you know, what corresponds to what. For here you can see we've got the clubs, and we have a club. This is the Ace of Wands, Ace of Batons, Ace of Clubs, whatever you want to call it. But here we have a little reminder in each card, which is nice. And this is more of a pip deck rather than a Marseille deck. This is where it changes in terms of the arrangements, which I really like. I think it's interesting to see these new arrangements, this variation on the traditional setup. So the colors in the cards and the arrangement of the pips were what drew me to this particular deck. Oops. And here we have the cups. And I love here both the color of the cup and the spherical, rounded nature of this cup. I always prefer those cups to the more traditional castle-shaped goblet. And here we see the hearts. So, you know, cups are hearts. And we have that reminder in each card. Don't know what this plant is. It looks like holly to me. Oh no, holly would have little jagged leaves. Not sure what that is. I'm almost thinking mistletoe, but I think the berries in mistletoe are white. Or is it flowers? Well, I don't know my botany, so. And some of the arrangements are the same. Looks like most of these are. I guess it's mostly in the swords and batons suits where the arrangements are different. Oh no, this one's different. Interesting. Yeah, and that one's different. Now we have the swords. Also, you can tell which side is up and which side is down on this deck. All the numbers are at the top of the card. Because I was tempted to turn this one around in keeping with some of the other placements. And with a 3, you wouldn't notice, actually, if it was up or down, but compared to the other cards, you can see that's the top of the card, so. See, in traditional tarot, unless I've got this card upside down, I believe in the traditional one, the 3 grows up, and the floral pattern here would lead me to believe that's true. So I wanted you to see these side by side, not only because some similarities in the palette, but also to see a differentiation between the traditional Marseille patterns and the pip arrangements on this deck. I actually find it refreshing because I'm getting so used to these setups that this is an interesting variation for me to look at. So there, you on the swords, I guess I should have pointed out the spades are swords on all the cards. Sometimes they're a little less strategically placed. That kind of almost blocks the hat a little bit, but it's all right. Now we have coins or discs, which are the diamonds. Manufactured by Angel Playing Cards. This is Vincent Pitisci. The 2 of coins is generally the card in the Marseille deck that identifies the cardier, the card maker, printer, manufacturer. I also think it's interesting that, considering it's U.S. games, there's no copyright information on this deck. But it was made in 1980, so maybe that wasn't something they routinely did. I'm not sure. Anyway, that is the Angel Tarot. And you may still be able to find copies. In fact, maybe you'd be so lucky as to find one with the brown plaid back, unless you prefer this design, this more ornate design. So, just wanted to see, there's something down here. I can't quite make out. I think it's just design. It almost looks like print or type that's been rubbed out, but it's the same on all 4 corners. Yeah, for a second I thought, oh, maybe that's where the copyright info is, but it doesn't appear to be. It's just sort of a random cross-hatching in the design. Anyway, I'll see you all next time with something different. Bye.